Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to a brand new week of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott, and I'll tell you, we have a great show for you as we are going to get into curses with Dr. Raymond Scott coming up here momentarily. But first, we want to say hello to each and every one of you as we have Tim Mothman in his goatee in the gold medal position, T-Bone with a silver, Eddie Vila with a bronze medal tonight. How we doing, guys, as we say hello next to Kitty Caddywhack, Paramarv, and Necessary Dialogue. Good to have you all here. Mel WD-40 is here lubing us up for tonight's show because you always want to go into a show about curses nice and smooth. You don't want any of that rigidness. So thank you, Mel, for the lube. We greatly appreciate it. Robert Lamoth, Thunderhead, and Race Fan. How you guys doing tonight? Lisa Smith, nice to see you. Flat Six is here. Flat Six will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio, if you don't mind, to the left of the studio. Kendall Maz, welcome to SOR Chat. Bam Skyder, thank you for joining us in the membership side. We appreciate that. As we continue on with our roll call here, T-Bone, my man, how are you, buddy? Hope you're having a good night. As we scroll on down to say hello to Jaquetta, good to have you here. And look at that right there. Frankie B, how are you, my friend? Nice to have you here. As we scroll on down on our roll call to say hello to number 17, starting on defense from Stockholm, Sweden, Lars Jansson. There he is. Thomas Rock, how are you? Luscious Jewels and Search and Destroy. Nice to have you both here. Al Garay over on Twitch. So excited tonight that he double luged to a gold medal. Double luged to a gold medal tonight. If you look up double luge, that's a scary thought, but good job. Olympic record time, just a hair off the world record. Good job, Al Gray. Nice to see you racing on down. Integrationing, how are you? Stephanie Kenny Blankenship, Undead Jed, Carol Amerio. Nice to have you all here. East Coast Turnaround on X, thank you for coming on in. As we scroll on down to say hello to Walter and Gary J. Nice to have you both here. Athena is here. Athena will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind. To the right of the studio. Digger Dog, good to see you. And T-Bone, my man, thank you for kicking off the super chat tonight. Wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. So thank you, T-Bone. You are the best. Thank you very, very much. All right, let's scroll on down and next say hello to Eternity Eternal. Beelzebrad has a devil put aside for me. Good job, Beelzebrad. Jerence Carter, nice to have you here. Miss Tessa Marie, how are you tonight? As we scroll on down to say hello to Flubber Lane. And not a world record, Algaray, and only an Olympic record. Only an Olympic record. Still good, though. You got the gold. That's all that matters. All right, my friends, let's scroll on down next. And who do we say hello to? Benno from Oz. What's happening, Benno? Big J, nice to have you here. As we scroll on down, I think we're caught up. I do. I think we're caught up. I'm just going to close the window here. It's a little cold in here. 1 sec. And let's get the radio side going. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott, and we are going to be talking with Dr. Raymond Scott here momentarily about curses and how do you defeat them. He's got a great mustache too, so make sure you look him on up. He's got a fantastic handlebar mustache. I'm jealous of it. We're at roll call on our YouTube side right now. We say hello to Julie Rios. No, it's not Santa Claus. My hair's too short for that. All right. And we got about 30 seconds to go before we launch. We want to say hello to everybody listening in on our YouTube and on our podcast side as well. We want to remind all of you, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. Why? We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. So make sure you check it on out. And don't forget, get your tickets now for Caribou Con in September 18th through 20th. We want to see you all up here in the Caribou region of British Columbia for a heart-to-heart with the paranormal. Great guests, great pricing, cariboucon.com. That's cariboucon.com. Let's see here. Mr. Cowley, how are you? Throw those horns up, everybody. Let's rock.
Are you ready to hear your mystic voice of the night?
It's time to wake up.
He's here. Shush. Be quiet. He's ready for you to listen. Let's point our ears towards the little cabin in the woods, where together, my friends, we own the night. It's time for Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott.
From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I'm your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. We are going to get into curses tonight. Dr. Raymond Scott is going to join us here momentarily to tell us all about them and how to shake them. Then in number 3, Swamp Dweller will be here for another spooky story. Then we're going to follow that up with some big news in the UFO world regarding former President Barack Obama. Yeah, the wizard Josh Rutledge will be here to break it all down for us very, very soon. So let's kick things off. Dr. Raymond Scott is a Seattle-based metaphysical practitioner with more than 50 years of hands-on experience helping clients across the United States and around the world. Known for his deep spiritual insight and practical guidance, Dr. Ray blends decades of study with real-world application, offering a grounded yet expansive approach to personal growth, energy work, and conscious exploration. His work focuses on empowering individuals to better understand their own spiritual path, remove energetic blockages, and gain clarity of life decisions through intuitive and metaphysical techniques. Now, over the years, Dr. Ray has trained with and studied teachings from all around the world. The guy is absolutely brilliant. His background includes extensive exploration of ceremonial practices, shamanic traditions, witchcraft, and esoteric systems of magic. So he also deals with curses. That's what we're getting into tonight. Let's bring him on in. Dr. Raymond Scott, welcome to Spaced Out Radio for the first time. How are you?
Very good. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, we're glad to have you here, my friend. Very glad to have you here. You have studied so much. 50 years. Wow. A lot of people don't do a lot of things for 50 years, but yet here you are.
Yeah, and I'm still learning. So still studying, researching to develop find more ways to help more people.
What brought this on? What made you do this?
Yeah. Well, before doing this, I was studying and teaching martial arts. So this is going above and beyond that. So I've always liked these kinds of things, but didn't know much about it. So I got some learning on how to heal myself and my family, and it just kept on going from there. And pretty soon, back then, I had no clue about curses and demons and things like that. I had no clue. And then it's taken me a while to wrap my head around all this.
When you go down the rabbit hole, and I've told our audience many a times, when you go down the rabbit hole of your own personal trek into the phenomena, it can take you in so many different paths and directions. How did you find your path? What brought you this way?
I started out with clearing human spirits. People had a loved one that passed away, and I would help not only the person themselves, but the one who passed away, help them deal with it, because they're just as concerned about the living as the living is concerned about them that passed on. So I would help them, teach them how they can help the living. So it's an educational process on both sides.
And with that, how was the reaction from the people you were helping?
Both were helped. Many times I was helping, went to a job site as I was in pest control, different kind of pests. And the lady had just lost her husband a week before, and she was all shook up still. And so I helped her, talk to her a little bit while I was there. And I told her, I said, he has an advantage now. And she says, what? I said, he doesn't have to go to work. He can stay with you a lot. And she got a smile on her face, so she appreciated that. And then after I went back to the truck, he came out to see me, and he grabbed my hand. It was a warm day, so the window was open. He grabbed my arm, and he was shaking it multiple times, and he was saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I told him, I said, you're welcome. I said, but you don't want to hang around too long, because you're keeping her depressed. So she needs to be able to, you need to back off a little bit to allow her to breathe. So he appreciated that as well. So he learned a little something there.
At what point in life did you realize you could communicate with spirits?
Oh, well, just during the schooling part, some spirits came in to disrupt the class. We had to move him on, disrupted, and we had to find some others that were in the area that had gotten injured and they died. We had to help them move on. It's just one thing after another. That's how it started. And then pretty soon somebody had demons. I said, oh my gosh. So I had to address that in a different way, of course. They don't move on.
What's the difference between dealing with a spirit and dealing with demons?
Oh, well, it depends on the spirit. The human spirit, yeah. I mean, human spirits, if a demon comes in the area, they will leave as fast as they can so that they won't be captured. Demons, they don't just move around. They connect to somebody, and they're usually at a place where they're assigned to be by a highest level demon, a level 10. They arrange them from 1 to 10 in rank order, 10 being the highest. And they put them in places where they're most likely to be able to connect with somebody, like bars, pubs, taverns, like that. People will hang out in a way for a while, and they connect with somebody who is putting out a lot of negativity, especially for people who have just came there after work. Not happy hour, but it's not so happy for them sometimes. And they connect and as they accumulate. They're looking for negative energy because they're a negative being. So they need to manipulate humans to put out more negative and less positive.
When you are dealing with a demon, how do you deal differently with a demon than you do a spirit?
Well, a human spirit, they have to go into the light. So unless they refuse to go into the light because they know they've been naughty. So we have to convince them otherwise. And the demon, they have to go to another direction, kind of negative dimension that they come from. So that way they're not here causing us problems. So
have you encountered a lot of demons over your career?
Say that again.
Have you encountered a lot of demons over your career?
No. Early on, very rarely, maybe one a year. Now it's almost daily. Almost daily. And sometimes multiple times a day. So very rarely that a week goes by without encountering somebody contacting me and they have demons and they need help. Very rarely. So it's amplifying, and it's amplifying beyond that as well. I've found whole communities with multiple people in the community that have demons. Excuse me. And these are popping up all over the United States. Multiple areas in each state. And it's escalating to the point where I would clear an area, and a year later, it's full of demons again in different locations, different people.
What do you think? What do you think is bringing that on?
Well, there's an increase in negativity on the planet. As you look at the news, everybody can tell. And so that brings out the need of more demons coming out to be used. And the head honcho of the demons, Satan, is escalating his activities. So I am a thorn in his side, I think, because I can remove him so easily. And the hardest part is helping the people recover from that demonic influence. Removing the demons is the easy part for me. It takes me a couple minutes, where it used to take me a whole month or two. But helping the people recover, that is the hard part. That is tough. Demonic influences are the worst kind of trauma that somebody could ever experience, period.
So are these just hitting people, or are they hitting areas?
People, areas, mostly people. Areas don't produce anything for them of value. It's the people. They're looking for negative energy. Humans put out a lot of energy. You just have to manipulate them to put out more negative than positive.
Do you do it with a team, or do you do it individually? Like, or do you go in yourself to do it?
I do it remotely by myself.
So you do it through remote viewing?
Remote viewing, yes. All around this country and in a few other countries, not a lot, because I charge for my services. Got to run a business, so the financial rate of currency rate is different in different countries. I try to keep my rates flexible enough so that I can help everybody. And sometimes people just don't have the money. They're homeless. They have no money, and they've got demons. So I just remove them.
That's very cool. You talk so matter of fact about it. Like this is just something that happens. Whereas a lot of people would be pretty freaked out over this. I mean, how do you keep your composure with dealing with all of this?
Well, it's just the way I am. I've never put too much emphasis in any of the stuff to get it overpowering me. It's just, for me, it's just a job, and I accomplish it very easily, very well, and just curses and demons. This is something that I can do effectively, efficiently, consistently. And so why bother doing anything else? I'm busy doing this.
And what's your client base?
Oh, they range all over, and in some people, you can't get to them because there's no way of getting a hold of them. Like big corporations that are being cursed and they have demons in it. I can't get a hold of them because I don't know how to get a hold of them. I have limitations. And if I called them up and the receptionist would laugh it off and hang up on me probably. Another Coke. Okay. Move on. But anyway, yeah, it's happening to not just people, but corporations, communities, towns, curses and demons. Yeah, it's big.
What are your limitations? Have you ever been pushed to the brink?
As far as what? Demons? No, they don't. Well, I've had all kinds of people that I've protected from people who are using the occult as a weapon, trying to stop me. And it doesn't work. I stop them and move on. And because I have excellent shields that protect me. So there's been a lot of people trying to do that. And so there's the only limitation is getting through and educating people who don't want to be educated, who think they know what's going on and they don't believe me, or they don't want my help, or whatever the reason. I can't get to them. I mean, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So I do the best I can. And it used to bother me a whole lot because this person is hurting and I can help them, but they won't let me. So, but now I just move on.
How does a person typically get a hold of you to say, hey, can you help me with this situation? I have something going on here that seems to be affecting my life.
And that is a common statement that people make. And I have an ad through Google Ads, and they respond to that. Craigslist ads, I have some of those. I used to do more of these kinds of shows, but they seem to be not too frequent. In the last couple of weeks, yes, but not for quite a few years. So I don't know what's going on out there with that. But most of them were on blogs and they retired, and so they're not doing it anymore. So mainly, and then a lot of word of mouth, which helps because people helping people help them with the problems. That's always helpful. But that's basically it there.
Do you find that people are very accepting to this sort of understanding of what's going on?
No, not really. Especially people who are very religious. They have a viewpoint of who can do this. You're not a priest, well, then you can't help me. Oh, well, sorry. You prayed, you wanted help. I showed up and you rejected me. I'd say, well, okay. Take that up to the man above who you prayed to. So anyway, it's people have their ways of they think should be done, and I'm kind of out of the box, so to speak.
With that being said, when we talk like this, a lot of people think, there's a lot of bad things going on in this world, and we tend to forget that there is a lot of good. I mean, how do you decipher, helping the bad to make it good for people again?
helping get rid of the bad things that are harming them. Helping them understand what's happening to them as clearly as I possibly can, so that they can be a part of the process of recovery.
How long is the process of recovery?
Ooh, if it's demons, wow! At one time I was saying 3 to 6 months, and I'd like to say that 3 to 6 months to recover. At the first month is a roller coaster ride. Any kind of trauma that you go through, doesn't matter what kind. The first month is up and down, up and down, up and down, and then it starts stabling out. I'm a psychologist. I don't use drugs. I have a therapy process that is designed specifically, initially, to help recovery for demonic influences. It works for a lot of other things as well, but that is the main thing it was designed for, and I've found that it has helped for other things as well, like curses and other human spirits. But that was the main thing it was initially for, because it's such a hard thing for people to recover from.
Now,
and
what
3 to 6 months for just demons, 2 to 3 months for humans and curses. But curses, they can go on and on and on and on and on. They keep on getting new groups, because I stop and prevent them from doing any magic, and I hold them there for a year at no extra charge. But they get new groups to help. So now I'm working on finding ways to stop all that quicker, faster. It's a process. Life is a process.
What is the, we got about 2.5 minutes here before we go to break here. So I should have said that first. What is the feelings people have that they would catch on that something is wrong, that they have this demonic entity attached or a nasty spirit attached?
Especially demons. Things start going sideways really quick. They start getting more and more depressed. People are, where it used to be calm and be able to talk to them, start getting agitated when they start talking to them, because demons divide and conquer. They drive away all family and friends, leaving you isolated and alone, driving you deeper and deeper into depression. And over usually when somebody contacts me, they've got a minimum of 6 demons, and they've had them for quite a few years. So it's gotten really bad.
Can you tell when someone has one?
Yes. Oh yeah, right away. Because when they send me a picture, whoa, or I talk to them on the phone, I can get the sense right away that you got a crowd around you, and not a happy crowd either. Or if they're being cursed, that's a different energy, a different feel. It's like somebody got a sprinkler, a hose, and there's hosing you down from the side. That kind of energy, a flow. And it causes quite a similar things, similar ineffective indivisions, the problems in your life that are not effective anymore. And the demons and the curses both do that, destroy functions of life.
So in reality, then, what we're looking at is something that we as humans won't know it's attached until we start feeling a little bit different, feeling out of touch, out of sorts, depressed, upset, anger, emotion.
Exactly. Usually it's with demons, it's very repetitious. They have depression, anger, anxieties, extreme fatigue, and they can't sleep because the demons don't sleep. They keep you awake all night. The only time you sleep is when you pass out from exhaustion.
Well, on that note, I'm going to make sure that we get you to hold on, because we are going to break here at the bottom of the hour. Dr. Raymond Scott is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. When we return, What is a curse? How do they happen? We're going to get the lowdown next. All right, we are clear.
Excellent.
Yeah. The noise in the background, what's happening is we're getting a little bit of feedback from your end, Ray. So every time you move, because your microphone is on your shirt, it's kind of scratching the microphone a little
I can
bit.
switch it to an earbud if that's right.
Yeah.
Would that be okay?
Yeah, that's better. That's better like that.
Okay, I'm holding it up so as not to touch anything.
Yeah, right now we don't need to worry about it for about 4 minutes. 1 second here. Derek, the woo-poo, Crino got thrown out of the Olympics by his team because they were so embarrassed by him trying to fight Tom Wilson, knowing that Tom Wilson would have literally kicked his ass. So he didn't get thrown out by the Olympic Committee. If there was a fight in Olympic hockey, both players would have been eliminated from the tournament, which is why Wilson declined the fight. And then he got back up after the cheap shot and was going to absolutely dummy him, but that's not what happened. So if we're going to report on things, let's report properly rather than just trying to stir old Davey up, because the clash will happen in the gold medal game. Okay. And finally, the Kachuk brothers are going to be shut up once again, like they were at the Four Nations. That's the way it's going to go. Sorry, a little hockey talk there, Ray. All right. You having a fun time, Ray?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
I
did you take...
I tried getting the earbud on, but it's not connecting, so I'm going to have to go back to the other way.
Unsecure signal? Welcome to SOR chat. Yeah, we'll get you to put those back on there, buddy.
Okay.
Okay, you want to talk to me again?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm still getting this thing.
There you go.
Technology. You can't live with it. Can't live without it.
Right?
Okay.
There we go.
How we doing?
Good. We're good.
Okay.
We are good. We've got about 2.5 minutes here, my friend.
Okay. I'll just make sure my shirt doesn't bother the mic.
That'll be perfect. Absolutely perfect. Oh, I've had when you get your neck gets sore and it gives you that neck headache.
Yeah.
I've had one of those all day.
You can massage your thumbs on both on left side, right side. The top of the thumb is your head, and the part between the top knuckle and bottom knuckle is your neck.
Really?
Yes, acupressure.
Wow, I actually feel that.
Yeah. Left hand, left side of the neck, right hand, right side.
Wow.
I do that all the time.
Bombshell Bomber, how are you? What I realized, I pulled a boss move by kicking. I did read what you wrote. You're still trying to stir me up. It's coming. The gold medal game is coming. We're through the prelims. We've outscored the opposition 20-3. We're good. We are good. We got about a minute to go here, my friend.
Okay.
Pony Pong, how are you? Welcome. And Hello, Dirty.
Hello, Dave.
There he is. Good old Dirty Filth. All right, 30 seconds. Big thank you tonight to T-Bone and Kitty Cattywhack for the super chat. Vamp Skyder, thank you for joining our YouTube membership. We will be taking questions in hour number 2. So if you want to line them up now, you can. Shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. Why? We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. So check it on out. You're going to be glad that you did. And here we go. All right, let's kick off the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We always appreciate you tuning us on in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. We want to remind all of you that if you miss portions of this show or others, our archives are always free on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot. Read the news wire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. We bring in Raymond Scott. He is someone who knows a lot about curses, what causes them, who causes them, and how to get rid of them. It's one of the scarier topics that I like on this show. And Raymond, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it, my friend.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Before we get too much into it, what is a curse?
Good question. A curse generally is somebody using the occult as a weapon and attacking. It doesn't have to be an occult, actually. It could be an energy weapon, like through, I don't know if anybody familiar with radionics, but that is a method of sending out a curse as well when it's used negatively. A curse tends to destroy something or someone or company or area. That's the way it usually is. They who don't get their need to has energy that carries energy, and they were using their personal energy, send it in the direction of the person. It doesn't matter if you believe it or not. It's effective. It does work, and I can stop it.
Why would somebody want to curse someone?
Why is there anger issues and between people? Usually jealousy, rage, some kind of anger issue or jealousy, a wide variety, but it goes around something. The jealousies of what you have that they don't have, or of people you have that they don't have. I've had people use magical manipulations to separate a husband and wife and their family, and take the husband away and bring him to them. Yeah, it's happened many times. Magically manipulating a husband to go to somebody else, like a zombie, just a walking dead. You just with no expression on the face, just walking out the door, never seen again. Crazy. Whatever the person doesn't like about a situation, or what has happened to them in result of getting fired from a job or a company, they use the magic or hire somebody that can do that to destroy the company or that person's life. People with psychopathic tendencies, but don't want to use a gun or a knife, they use magic.
The fact that somebody would want to harm somebody through spiritual practice is quite baffling to me. And I say that as someone who has had a curse put on them before. And it wasn't a lot of fun. It caused a lot of strife for me when that happened, especially when, most people who are cursed have no idea that they've been cursed, Ray.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's usually the case. It's happening, and they usually don't know it's happening unless somebody tells them or, points the way that, hey, I think you've got something going on that you need to check out. I've had many clients that contacted me. Eventually, I'm usually the last resort. Them that they were being cursed.
It is scary, though. I mean, this person who did it to me not only tried to destroy my life, and I think it was done out of jealousy. And I found out from two different people that this person did it, but she tried to manipulate my daughter against me too. And for a while it worked. It was horrible.
Yeah. And that is pretty common. Destruction of the person, and to harm them the most, you work on the family, their jobs, their livelihood, their health, a variety of things. Curses have a tendency to settle into areas of weakness if it's aimed at a person, like their health or something like that. So I don't get into what it's trying to do as much as who is doing it and how to stop it.
Okay, so take us through a story. Tell us a story of a curse that you dealt with. Maybe not for you, but on somebody else.
Wow, I could give you a big one.
Sure. We got time.
Guy. Well, it's not a long time, but it is a big one. It's an important one, and he was an on again, off again client. He contacted me. He said his niece was sick in the hospital, comatose. She had a week to live. I said, whoa. And he gave me a picture. I did the reading. I said, she's being cursed to death. And so he hired me, and he wanted to find out who it was. And I said, well, I don't know their name. I just described them. And he said, I know who that is. Oh my gosh. And I said, don't contact them. It could, number one, they'll deny it. Two, there's no proof. And three, it could make things worse. So she had been unconscious for weeks in the hospital, and the doctors gave her a week to live. We stopped the curse. Within a matter of an hour, she woke up. They had to do more in years, and she's the miracle of the church, because nobody knew about it except him and me. That was it. He didn't tell nobody. But the whole church was praying for her. Yay, she's better. She's all good. So, and we're all thankful for that.
No kidding. No.
But yeah, it's scary what they can do.
Did you ever figure out why she was cursed?
What's that?
Did you ever figure out why she was cursed?
Well, this lady was kind of crazy. She used radionics to do the work. I could tell right away it wasn't normal occult magic. It was an energy, and I was able to stop it. And what I do for stopping it is I send it all back to the source from which it came. Just like Elvis, return to sender. I send it back. I bind it to her and take her energy down and stop it. And I keep her there for a year. And he knew who she was. He went back out to her place, not to confront her, but to check in on her, because she lived by herself on a farm. she said she could tell something was wrong with her. She wasn't acting normal, and she said all the animals on her place were acting weird. And he asked me about that. I said, well, I don't know. I just sent all her energy back to her. So evidently, what they say, what they always show, don't do the crime if you can't do the time. So be careful what you're putting out there. You're liable to get it back.
Are you able to tell just by the curse that's been placed who placed it?
To who is sending it and to who is responsible, the initiator who is responsible for setting it up and doing it. Yeah, and I usually don't I don't check their IDs and see who they are. I can give them a description of what the person looks like. And then they tell me they either know who they are or they don't. Sometimes it's a person they don't even know, but is jealous of what they have, so they want to destroy them to make themselves feel better.
Yeah, I mean, so let's say, as an example, let's say I'm mad at you, okay, or I'm mad at your friend. You don't know me, but I place a curse on your friend. Your friend doesn't know that I placed it, but could you tell through astral travel or through tapping into the curse whether or not it was me that did it?
I could trace it back and describe you to the person. Because the energy flow. The energy flows. I just trace it back and I see the person who sent it. Usually, nowadays especially, it's not a person. It's usually a group of people. Anywhere from 8 or 9 to 15, 20, 25 or 30 of them. It's a massive amount of people. And it's usually coming from a country where they have a lot of people and very little money to support people. So they're willing to do anything to earn enough money for their family. So this is what they can do.
What's the worst curse you've ever seen put on someone?
The worst? Oof. Probably the worst is kind that just amplifies within the person already medical they've got, and they amplify them beyond the doctor's ability to do anything. The medicines don't work. Medicines have no effect, and it causes so much problems. So once we stop the curses, then everything starts working again. It's uncanny how that works. It just does.
What's the hardest curse to get rid of?
Of a magical type of curse? None of them. I've been able to stop any and all types of curses, but they used to be, some time ago, they used to be one type of curse. I don't know if I should get into what kind they were, but they're usually from south the border areas, not necessarily Mexico, but they were voodoo. That was the kind that they were. And now, and very rarely anything else. No witchcraft, no satanic stuff, very rarely anything else. But now it's the opposite. It's all satanic, nothing else. Nothing. I very rarely come up with else. It's all this kind. It's crazy. Why? I don't know. It's just others, you start stopping them and they stop doing it. Satanic people don't seem to want to do that. They just keep going and keep hammering and figuring they can get through. Wow. I don't know.
That's incredible. Incredible.
It is.
So when you're dealing with, say, a religious curse like voodoo or hoodoo, how is that different from than me saying, you know what, I'm mad at you and I curse you to whatever happens?
Yeah, verbal things like that are very ill-effective. They don't have much energy behind it, and it's just a casual thing. I curse you, and I hope your life is rotten, and then you go away and you forget about it, and it doesn't have much of an effect. But something that was some kind of magic behind it, they are trained, they know how to do this, and they put together a package kind of like thing, and it's like a beacon. It's like a radio. It sends out a signal continuously, and they just set it aside and monitor it occasionally to make sure it's still working. But it's still connected to them. It doesn't matter if setting up a curse for them is not a continuous sitting down and doing it for hours and hours. It's putting it together, and it works. It goes like a computer. You push a button and it goes. It doesn't work. And all they do is monitor occasionally to make sure it's still working. But it's still connected to them. So when I trace it back, I see them, and I take their energy down and I stop them.
So with the curses, how many different kinds of curses are out there? You said there used to be just one kind of curse, but now it's kind of gone a little haywire.
Right. Well, it used to be voodoo, and very rarely witchcraft. Very rarely. I mean, very, very rarely Santeria. And there's a few others, but they're quite similar. Hoodoo never does anything. They do mostly healing. They don't do anything magical attacks or anything. Do but satanic, it seems like they do that specifically for. And some of these people in satanic, they do necromancy as well, which is controlling people, human spirits, to do their work for them. Or being satanic, they conjure a demon to send demons in. So that double down on the curse. It doubles down. You got a curse from humans, you got a curse from demons. And sometimes you got a curse from human spirits as well. Good grief. Can it get worse? I don't know.
Well, my goodness. I mean, with so many out there, I mean, how quickly does it take you to decide or not decide to figure out what kind of curse it is?
Well, that's what a reading is for. They would contact me. I would in most cases, the easiest way to contact me is through text message or email, because then I can communicate to multiple people over a short period of time. And if they have a situation, a problem, I would need a picture of them so that I can get an energetic connection, not too much to them so much as to whoever or whatever is causing them problems. And then I can help them with the picture later to provide recover healing, to help them de-stress and recover so that they can get their lives back as normal as possible. But that's the process to go through. And from the picture, I can tell what kind of thing is going on. If they are being cursed by humans or got demons, or if they don't have one of those two, which would connect to them, then I check on their energies. Is their energies stressful, or they got, what I'm looking for is chaos energy. Chaos energy is from a spiritual attack of some sort. And that creates the problem from possible human spirits in their home or the surrounding area. And that would be possibly a haunting. It may be going on, or maybe it did going on, and they're just haven't healed, haven't recovered from that episode. So it's a process of trying to figure it out.
That is, I've never looked at it that way. That is very, very intriguing with how that comes together. I mean, we have 4.5 minutes to go before we have to go to break at the top of the hour. Raymond Scott is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. And I'm curious, what is that chaotic energy you're talking about?
Very good. Chaos energy is from the conflict between the subconscious and conscious mind. See, the subconscious has no ability to rationalize anything, but it has the ability to see demons and human spirits and all that. It can see them and hear them as clear as day, face to face, and it's freaking out because it doesn't have the ability to rationalize what it's seeing. No, not at all. The conscious mind does, but it can't help it because it doesn't have enough information. So this conflict creates chaos energy. The chaos energy spins, but not like a hurricane, because that's predictable. Spins in one direction all the time, depending on your hemisphere. But this chaos energy spins in all directions at the same time, hence the name chaos. And when it gets to a strength level of approximately 95%, it creates a poltergeist, or whatever you want to call it. It duplicates what started the traumas in the first place. And when it does that, it duplicates and creates those, whatever caused the traumas, whether it's a curse or demons or human spirits. The subconscious mind can't tell the difference. It looks real. They're back again, and it's freaking out again. So creating more chaos energy. It's a continuous cycle, perpetual cycle. One fears, and it creates more chaos energy. Chaos energy duplicates what was causing it, and it goes into fear striking again, and it goes on and on until you get proper therapy to de-stress and rebalance your energies long enough that the minds can become calm.
How much does the person have to meditate on that to help clear it?
That person probably would have difficulties meditating at all with that chaos energy, because it would take a lot of time to do that. But it's possible. You just have to
help clear it, though. Like, does outside of work like you do, is it black salt? Is it sort of carrying crystals to try and change the energetic harmonics on it?
You could listen to singing bowls on YouTube. They have quite a few of them on there. You can listen to that. It has the ability to balance your energies, because it's about 528 megahertz. You listen to that, but it would take repeated dosages of that to do that. You can, there's a variety of things. You just have to do some research. And as far as protecting yourself, I have a book that I recommend to people. You can pick it up. It's pretty inexpensive. I don't get anything from it. I just find things, I research things, and I find something that is easy enough for people to use, and they can try it and see how it works for them. Do you want me to tell you what the name of it is here? Is that okay?
Yeah, I love it if you did.
Okay. It's a Magical Protection from Damon Brand. It's thin publication, not expensive, easy to follow. They do their research and make sure these things that they have available work consistently all the time. You just have to do the effort, because it's not a one-shot deal. You have to repeat it over and over for what they recommend. And even after that, if you start feeling uneasy, you just repeat the process, like, taking aspirin for a headache. It goes away for a while. Maybe later on in the afternoon, you have to take some more. That kind of thing.
It happens. I'm going to get you to hold on right there, because we are going to go to break here at the top of the hour. And I am just thoroughly interested in more of these curses. Who would curse someone? Would you ever
Ah,
think of cursing someone out there? Like, say you didn't like them. Would you do it? Seems kind of dangerous. Probably not recommended. Not good for the soul. We're going to find out more from Dr. Raymond Scott when we return. This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott. All right, we are clear. All right, Ray, we're going to turn things over to Dirty Filth here as he's going to bring in his cartoons. Hi, El Cid. How you doing? We go from here. Hello, Dirty.
Hello, Dave. I was just finishing up the last little bit of my cartoons here tonight, which is mostly the ear color for the cats, the sprogs, the space sprogs, because I have this special round of energy creatures. They're called the space sprogs, and they're in my fantasy world here that we have. And I've rambled about it a long time, but if anybody's never been here, I draw the cartoons on Spaced Out Radio. Sometimes during the week, but all the time on Saturdays. And basically, I sit around on Saturday nights, well, afternoons. Could be evenings later if you're on the East Coast, but Saturday afternoons, 3 p.m. Mountain Pacific, I sit here and I draw cartoons and I ramble about these great cartoons, and I also share some of the other things that I've done. Well, not that I've done, but my accomplice and I, with her. I'm going to reach over here and grab some of this stuff. Here we are. She's turned my cartoons into plushies. I guess I have to load this sucker up a little bit higher here to show off some of these things, because here we have Old Man Fabrice. He's sitting around there. We have some other cartoons and whatnot. Anyways, this is really a giant plug for my show, as much as it is a cartoon for this evening. So this evening we have the UFO with the next space frog making her way into the academy. This is 13. We're not really sure too much about it. Apparently 13 is a little bit of sass. So that's what we're running with right now. So I hope everyone's having a wonderful evening. Let's see here. I have the show is a lot faster when it's not on the weekend, because I get like 6 people on the weekend, but on the regular day there's about 10,000 people talking away here. Hello, Cryptical Crossroads. One artist to another. I would like to team up with you at some point in time, if possible, or at least if we can follow one another. I'm at Filth1, of course, with the FYLTH1 on X. That's usually where I post my stuff. It's fairly easy to do that. Everything else, I find like Instagram and TikTok and all these other websites, there just seems to be so much extra fluff. Whereas with X, I can just plug the stuff there, goes out into the ether, and it causes itself to go on and so on and so forth. But look at that. A bird just flew in at the side of my window. Anyway, well, I hope it's okay. But on the plus side, everybody, the bird that flew into my window that fell down, the cats can't get to it, so everything should be fine. But nonetheless, some wonderful cartoons. You can find my books on Amazon at filthy.com. Or, well, not at filthy.com. Well, you can go to filthy.com as well. Apparently, I sold all my books last night, so I don't have anything to show for myself. But that's the way it goes when you're a regular dude, slanging your artwork to the entire universe. I would suggest if you enjoy artwork, look up Don Bluth, one of the best animators ever. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Dirty.
I'm going to go and watch Five Goes West. It's a Don Bluth special.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. And I have the utmost respect for everybody here tonight to come hang out with everyone on this Monday. Juice.
Perfect. We got about a minute to go here. Thank you, Dirty Filth. Filthy.com is his website. Make sure you order his book. It's really good. Part 1 and 2. I'd appreciate that. Big thank you tonight to our super chatters, T-Bone and Kitty Cattywhack. Also, a big thank you to Vamp Skyder and T-Bone for gifting a membership. Thank you very much. We've got a bunch of questions from you guys about to come up. And don't forget you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag, so make sure you check it on out. And, of course, you can go get your tickets for CaribouCon.com. CaribouCon, September 18th through 20th, right here in beautiful Caribou region of British Columbia. We want to see you all here, so here we go. We are into hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. We're talking curses with Dr. Raymond Scott. My name is Dave Scott, and I do this show each and every night for you just because I love bringing the weird and strange to you each and every night. Hi to all of you listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Capaniform. Capaniform is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's bring in Dr. Raymond Scott. We'll get you to unmute, Dr. Raymond. And that way we can hear your beautiful voice talking about curses as we continue on Spaced Out Radio. How you doing, Ray?
Doing good, doing good.
All right. We're going to get to some audience questions here because there's a bunch of them here for you. Start off with Benno down in Australia, who is asking, Glorious Mustache Man, what martial arts did you train in?
It was it depended on where I lived. Kenpo, that's with an N, not an M. And Shonru, that's what I started with. And a variety like Sistema, that's a Russian form. And that's the basis of them all. But it involved karate, judo, aikido, and that's the wide range of it.
That's awesome.
I didn't train for tournaments. I trained people to survive the greatest tournament of all, which is everyday life. So how to break away, get away, and don't hang around to take autographs. So the main thing is their survival so they can go home safely.
Paramarv is asking, when performing an exorcism, how does what you do compare or contrast with what a Catholic priest or Protestant minister do?
Well, they do it old school. They have to go through the process of getting their name so that they can use it against them and to get control of them. I don't do that. I see where they're at. Me and my spirits interact with them and send them where they need to go. To give you an idea, The Exorcist, the movie, that was a 2-month process in reality, but it wasn't with a girl, it was a young boy. And he said they were fine. He ended up getting healed and everything, but it took 2 months to remove them. It took me 2 minutes. So I guess like any job, the longer you do it, the better you get at it.
Well, 50 years isn't anything to sneeze at, that's for sure. You know? Okay,
Yeah.
let's go to Jules here. I've heard that you need to give a demon an opening for it to be able to inhabit you, and that they target exceptionally good people. This sounds at odds. Which is it? Or is it both?
They look, depending on how they pick up the demon. If the demon was sent as part of a curse, totally different, the whole thing right there. But if the person was it could be a good person, and most of them, they have told me the same thing. I'm basically a good person. Why did this happen to me? And at the right place, at the right time, and they were feeling not so well, maybe having a bad day. And usually a low-level demon is sent to a place to pick up on people. It almost sounds like a bad joke. They end up putting them in bars, pubs, taverns, restaurants, where people hang out for quite a bit of time. And that's the most common place for people to pick up on a demon. Like I said, it sounds like a bad joke. 2 demons walk in a bar. I don't know what the outcome of that is, but it can't be too good.
Right? Right? How many of those, just to add to this, when somebody curses you, or let's say you walk into a bar and a curse attaches itself to you, how old is the curse?
Well, usually a curse is sent intentionally to the person. If they picked up a cursed item, then that curse would affect them as long as they have that item. If they wanted to, I've had people send me pictures of items that they picked up and they got bad feelings from it. And I told them, yeah, that's pretty bad. You should bury it in the ground, not on your property, and cover it in salt, and don't ever go back to it again.
So how does one protect themselves from curses?
It's a process. First, you have to know that it's happened, and then you can do something about it. In that book I suggested, it has a whole section there on curses and how to protect yourself from it. It's a process. It takes time, and a lot of times in the process of being cursed, it makes it difficult to get things done because you're having a hard time focusing and working. And both curses and demons affect, they destroy your ability to earn a living. So most people who contact me have very little money. So because they don't, especially demons, they don't want you to have money to hire somebody to get rid of them. They got a good thing going here. They don't want to ruin that. And a curse wants to destroy you. They don't want somebody stopping them. So they prevent that as well. So yeah, it's a process. But that book that I suggested, you can. That's the Magical Protection by Damon Brand. There's chapters in there on helping you in a variety of ways. You just have to read it carefully, apply it, and for as long as it says to do it. And you might have to redo it farther on down the road. But yeah, just because you're being cursed now, we stop that. They could get somebody else later, with a week or two, to continue the process. And this can go on for years. And I can stop that in less time. So yeah, that's what I do.
All right.
I'm constantly researching to find better ways.
Let's go to Carrie here. What is the strongest type of curse or most harmful? And can a person break it without the help from outsiders?
The worst kind of curse is a death curse. that's specific to that. It doesn't have to be demons influence. It can be all by itself, like I mentioned about the person with the niece. That was a death curse. It was working on her for a few years before it came to our attention, and it caused her to go into a hospital and to catatonic. She was unconscious. Call it whatever you want. She was unconscious, and the doctors thought she was going to die in a week. And it happened instantly. It takes time. But see, they set it up and it just goes. It just keeps going. Those are the worst. Yeah.
Now, when you are able to reverse the curse, if I'm correct here, please correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's true. That's what you do.
If you send the curse back to the person, they get it 3 times worse.
Yeah, they get it worse. Yeah. Yeah, because they're not ready for it. And I tell my clients, I said, they shouldn't dish it out. Can't take it. They need to be able, because it's coming back. And yeah, and if they keep on, see, if they are only the initiator who started it and paid somebody else to do it, it's all coming back to them. It's bound to them as well because they started it. And if they get somebody else to do it, guess what? You've got their stuff coming back to you as well. You keep doing it, it keeps on coming back to you. So their health deteriorates bad, really bad. This one guy he was being cursed for 5 years before he contacted me. And I was working on protecting him for a few years before we were able to get him to finally stop. And he went there. This is crazy. It's a crazy story. He went to because they were psychics. Her and her sister. He went to their place and they were closed up. And he said, some guy passing on the street, on a sidewalk, he said, "Hey, what happened to these guys? I was going to get a reading." He said, "Oh, haven't you heard? They're sick in the hospital." Oops. Like I said, don't dish it out if you can't take it because it's coming back.
All right, let's move on to another question from our audience. Let's go to T-Bone here, who is asking, what is your opinion on Ouija board use?
It's it's almost like having sex without a rubber. You don't know what you're going to get. Could be good, could be bad, could be ugly. So you got to have some kind of protection. Yeah, and I've had many people contact me. They said they used the Ouija board. And I said, uh-oh. Yeah, he said it went bad. So I had to protect him. I said, yeah, you got to get rid of that thing. Don't use it. It's not a toy. So yeah, they had called in some spirit they couldn't get rid of. That's usually the case because you're opening yourself up to possibilities. It's like opening up a big door or multiple doors. And without proper protection in the process, you don't know what you're going to be getting yourself into.
Oh, very true. Very true. All right, let's go to another question here. Let's go to Jeff here. What country uses the most black magic?
Country it started from Africa. You ask anybody from Africa, they'll tell you it's the #1 cause of death in that country. #1.
And how about
almost every country out there has them? So, yeah.
How about over on this? If we look at North America, where is the most cursed place? Would that be New Orleans?
Those, yeah, down south, down there, east, southeast, they use that kind of stuff a lot. Yeah. Yeah, I don't get a whole lot of business down there because they're into their own thing. But I do get a few people who get cursed or have something on them. But it's not as frequent. I'm on the West Coast, but most of my clients come from east of the Mississippi, all up and down the coast.
That's interesting. Why do you think that is?
Well, as far as spirits, there's a lot of conflict that's been up and down that coast. A lot of conflict. One war after another. And there's a lot of spirits that just don't know that the war has ended, or they just are lost. Because if a spirit dies unconscious, they're still unconscious afterwards. And they can be unconscious for weeks, months, years, decades, until something happens around them to make them wake up and wonder what's going on. There's a lot of demons. Oh, lots.
All right, let's go to Walter here. Does holy water remove or harm demons?
They don't like it. It backs them up. It doesn't remove them. It just drives them away a little. There's a variety of spiritual things like Psalm 91 you can use to drive them away. It doesn't keep them away, but it drives them away far enough you can get a little breath air. But they'll just hang around. They'll wait because they know you can't do it forever, and they'll be back. They're very patient.
Well, I mean, when you don't have to worry about time like people do, I mean, patience is a virtue, I guess, in that situation.
Right. Well, they know what they want, and they will not stop until they get what they want. They want you to be so depressed that you will take your own life, and then they will have your spirit, soul, whatever you want to call it, and torture it for all eternity. That's their bottom line.
Sounds so selfish.
I know. Me.
Right? That's just amazing. All right, let's go on to another question here. Paramarv is asking, does doing the exorcism remotely afford you any protections or cause you any issues?
No, I got protections around me that keep me safe. Initially, before I had that, oh yeah, they would. I had this one school in Texas that old school built in a hospital, old hospital, and this demon was in this one wing of the building. And so I went in there and found it, and it's like came right at me in a deepest voice I can't even duplicate. You're not going to get me out of here. I laughed. I said, oh yeah, okay, sure, you're out of here. Poof, gone. And but what a mess he left behind. Oh, the walls were permeated with his dark energy. I had to do some house cleaning in there. The principal of the place called me in to take care of it, and he went through 6 in one semester, 6 teachers. None of them wanted to be there. They left, and they said, I'm never coming back. I said, well, okay. But now it's been cleaned up, so wow. And the poor kids, they were there all day.
All right, let's move on to another one. Let us go next to, let's see here. Where can we go? We got a few of them here. Let's go to T-Bone. What's the longest curse you have heard of?
Longest? Wow. Usually these people have had curses going on for years before they even contacted me. Probably the longest was, probably the longest was demons, but this person contacted me. She was in her 50s at that time, but now she's a retired nurse. She had it ever since she was 5 years old. No childhood, no teenage years, no dating, hardly anything. They drive them away. No looking for her hand in marriage because they drove him away. As far as a curse sent by magic, wow, that was that one guy who had being magically attacked for 5 years. That was pretty long. But sometimes these things can be a generation. One ancestor can be cursed, and it is reciprocating. It passes on from generation to generation to generation. Those can be stopped, but it's a longer process. You have to go through the whole chain of command, so to speak, all the way back, and send it all back to the source, which the initiator is no longer with us.
I was actually just going to ask you about generational curses. Could you maybe talk a little bit about those?
Yeah, I've had quite a few. Some are curses by magic, and some of them are curses by demons. One relative could have demons, and the highest level are 10, and their kids were raised up with these demons, and they received their own, and then those kids receive their own, and those kids, it just continues. It just continues. And the same thing with black magical curses, same kind of thing. A generational thing could be passed on from generation to generation through an item. And it's not so much that the item is cursed to the point where it's because they have it, add it, and they're allowing it into their lives. Those things can be helped as well. It's just the process of figuring it out. What is causing this?
Is there a lot of family generational curses out there that people may not even know about?
That's quite possible. There are three kinds of curses. There's a curse that is from obviously somebody using the occult or something like that as a weapon.
Right.
And demons and some kind of spirits causing a curse, kind of a curse, because it causes an effect on you. And then there is the self-created curse. We are our own worst critics. We criticize ourselves worse than anybody else can. And sometimes that can get amplified by some kind of magical curse or a demonic curse or a negative spirit curse. They can amplify those things. And then when they're removed and gone, now you're left with the third one. Self-creating a curse. Doubting yourself. You're cursing yourself. You've got to give yourself some time, give yourself some space to allow yourself to recover from that. How does that answer enough?
Well, I think it does. Is we got about 90 seconds to go here. How does one start the healing process? We haven't really tapped into that yet.
Well, first you have to get rid of the problem. And in the course of whatever that was, you have to, number one, to get out in nature. Nature is the best way to heal. Go hug a tree. Go buy some water. Stand by a stream, river, some kind of body of water that makes a movement that you can listen to and get into. Take an hour a day or several times a week to do that, and you can feel better. Listen to your favorite comedy shows. Get some joy and happiness in your life. Things like this. Change, if you had demons or negative spirits, change your decor in your room, in your home, to make it look like you moved. Your subconscious will feel different because things look different. Any of these things can help you recover. It just takes time, unfortunately.
So it's a matter of cleansing not only yourself, but your whole environment.
Your environment. Because everything reminds the subconscious of what happened there. And you're liable still to get flare-ups along the way. you run into something that reminds you of that time, and your subconscious starts freaking out again. Your palms start sweating, you're hyperventilating, and you forget why. But when you start thinking about it, it's from that time. Self is very important. Everybody talks to themselves. That's how we figure things out. You talk to yourself. You said, no, the demons are gone. The curse has been stopped. Everything's fine.
All
we
right.
are fine.
I'm going to get you
Just
to hold
relax.
on right there. We got 30 minutes left. More questions from our audience on Spaced Out Radio.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
All right, we are clear.
Okay.
J True Seeker, we're talking about curses tonight, not cryptids. So I'm going to be skipping your question there. No offense. All right. Well, what's that playing in the background?
That's the alarm on my phone. I'm trying to find out where the heck it fell down to. How rude. Where the heck you go?
Right.
It's here somewhere. Ah, gotcha. Okay.
There we go.
Excellent.
All right, we got about 3.5 minutes. It's been a good time so far.
It's very good. Very good. I hope I've brought out enough information that people can find useful. So,
Right. All right. So 3 minutes.
how do you think it's going on your end?
Great. I'm really enjoying it.
Excellent. Yeah, we have some fun, and I hope we provide enough education. That's the nature of what I do every day for everybody is educate them.
Perfect. Sorry if I'm a little quiet. That headache is still driving me nuts.
Oh, okay.
Should have taken something before the show, but
They said I'd send you some energy to help with that.
I'd love it if you could.
Yeah, there's some tightness in your head there, yeah. Lighten it up. Seems to have lightened a little bit.
It did.
But you have a job that you have to focus on all the time, so it has a tendency to strain.
A lot of times when I have days where I have time to relax like I did today, because today was a holiday for us up here.
Oh,
I tend to when I over relax, that's when I get these headaches. And
really?
I also haven't drank enough water recently. So
Ah, yeah, I can do it too. Gotta lubricate.
yep, that you do. Big thank you tonight to Benno, Kitty Cattywhack, and T-Bone for the super chats. Greatly appreciate your love and support. And our store is open on our website, spacedoutradio.com. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag, so make sure you check it on out. Tickets available for Caribou Con. Make sure you go check them on out. CaribouCon.com is where we get going. And that's September 18th through 20th. Lots of time, yes, but better to get them early before they run out. Here we go. The second half of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. We greatly appreciate you tuning us on in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hey, we want to remind all of you that if you miss portions of this show or others, our archives are always free on YouTube or any major podcast network. You can check out our website, spacedoutradio.com. We got a plethora of good swag at the store. Check us out. We're all over social media, including YouTube and any major podcast network. All right, here we go. Dr. Raymond Scott. We have him until the top of the hour. We're going to continue with some audience questions here, my friend. You ready?
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Let's go to Hillbilly Herb, who is asking, how might one detect cursed items? Would something like a K2 meter help?
Not familiar with K2 meters, but it does measure energy. So you would have to test it with items that are cursed. But then again, you don't really want to get too close to it. But generally, you feel something negative about it, right? A bad feeling. You have to trust your own feelings, your own instincts, because especially if somebody has had demons in the past, they become a demonic Geiger counter. They can tell right away if something's bad in the room or something negative with that person. And I tell them, just get away. You don't need to repeat the process. So usually you get a bad feeling about something. Don't force it. Just back away from it.
Gotcha. All right, moving on here. Marv is asking, some folks are of the opinion that some or all aliens are demons or demonic. What is your thoughts? Would you try
aliens and demons?
Alien?
I know that demons hate aliens. They despise them. They don't like them at all. Whatever it is, I don't know. But aliens are totally different species altogether. I've dealt with some that are interdimensional, coming through portals into areas. And I've uncovered a couple of areas, and I've removed them and shut down the portal. And I've dealt with aliens extensively, more than I ever thought I'd want to. But it's a job, and that's a whole other thing. I don't know if you want to get into that. But yeah, and then if demons are negative, they need negative energy, and evidently aliens get in the way of that. So that's why I guess they don't like that.
Another one from Marv. Have any of these demons ever revealed themselves to you? Some piece of information that no one else should have known?
I deal with some demons that help me on some things. I've helped me to remove other demons, oddly enough, and how to do that easily, effectively. It's been very helpful.
How are they helpful?
Helpful. Well, some demons have yin and yang to them. They can be helpful or they can be harmful. It's both ways. Not all demons are that way, but there are enough of them so that it makes it advantageous to seek their attention, so to seek their help. And I've gotten help. Some of them volunteered to help on a situation. I said, wow, that's great. I could use the help, especially when I was dealing with aliens, because they don't like aliens. So they helped me get rid of them. So, because the aliens were stealing the energy that they wanted, so they wanted free access. So a competitive thing.
I never would have thought that would happen. Let's go to Zaddy here. What are your thoughts on witches?
Witches, it's a spiritual group activity, and witches are not bad. Magic is no color. There's no color to magic. It depends on your intention, whether it's white, gray, or black. White magic is doing nothing, allowing the cards or the chips to fall where they may. That's white magic. You're just allowing it to happen. Gray magic is when you influence things. Black magic is when you force things to move for you. And witchcraft is a spiritual development that helps people to accept the energy that they are and grow with it, and accept the energy of the planet and everything around you. That's what they do. And they have different ways of doing that.
What are your thoughts on ghosts and poltergeists, in your opinion, then? If you encounter one, do you take action?
Yeah. Ghost is a recording of an event that happened a long time ago. It's not necessarily a spirit. It's just a recording, like old TVs. When you were watching a show, you turned it off, and there's still the ghost image of the show that you were watching still on there, fading away. So these ghosts are just a recording energetically into the area, happening at a certain time of the day or a certain time of the year, and repeats over and over. A poltergeist is generated, as I mentioned before, between the conscious mind and subconscious mind, creating an energy because some spiritual attack or event happened that the subconscious does not have the ability to rationalize what it was, and the conscious mind can't help, or tries to help, creating this energy that it generates poltergeist. It creates this chaos energy that eventually creates a poltergeist. You can call it whatever you want. There's people with different aspects of different ideas of what a poltergeist is. That is what I was told by my spirits as to what that energy is. But in actuality, you can call it whatever. Doesn't matter. The energy creates a duplication of what caused the traumas in the first place.
Moving on. In your opinion, what do you think of Aleister Crowley then?
Oh, wow. Aleister Crowley. He was very into himself. You read any of his stuff, and he loved himself a lot. He was very into what he was doing and everything. And a lot of his information fell into the wrong hands, so to speak. Hitler was one of them. One of his students got a lot of his information. Bad hands. So yeah, it's bad. And Hitler didn't end up too well either. He had a whole bunch of demons that he couldn't get rid of. Not good for him. So he just Aleister Crowley had a lot of information. He was getting it out to as many people as he could. A lot of good information, but it depends on what you use the information for. Information is information, but it hands to the wrong person, it's bad. like a gun is just a hunk of metal. If you did not know what it was, you might use it for a hammer.
All right, let's move on. Let's continue with Zaddy here. What spirit are you of? Like, what is your spiritual background?
My spiritual background covers a lot of wide variety of things. I'm not religious. I'm just spiritual. I mean, everybody is, in actuality, a spirit, right? It's their rental. We use it for a while, and back in the spirit realm. So everybody is a spirit. So above and beyond anything else, that should be the main concern. What you're going to be doing with your spirit, with you.
Do you find that your martial arts training has helped some aspect of your spiritual work?
Yeah. And I still train every day. Exercise, physical therapy helps you keep going. Exercise, you can call it exercise or physical therapy. It helps you become and stay being a physical person. And it helps me with my work, gives me energy to get through the day. So yeah, it does help. I mean, that was where I started from.
How does it help you? Is it more the mental focus or the physical?
Oh yeah,
focus?
Mental focus. Yeah, I mean that helps me initially. I mean, because it's all about focus and breathing. People don't understand martial arts is about breathing, and the focus. Like when I was teaching martial arts in the Edmonds Boys and Girls Club for 30 years, their parents would say, since they started the class, their grades in school have improved. I say, it increases their focus. So they're able to continue studying longer than others' kids.
Does sin bring curses to a body part you sin with?
Sin?
Sin, yes.
Sin. It does. It is a curse in itself in that you have created a process of energy going out, and whatever energy goes out, it eventually comes back. It's just energy. So yeah, you can create problems because if demons are in it, kinds of problems that you're weighing on you because you have known that you've been naughty and they want to amplify that. That's how a lot of serial killers and mass shooters get created, by demons. Every single one that I have been reading on, because their pictures are on the web and who's in prison and whatnot, every single one of them had demons. And many of them said in their trial that they were just doing what the voices told them to do.
It's kind of weird how that happens, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And yet you see the courts really reject that type of testimony that somebody could have been cursed.
Yep.
Or possessed.
But Ed and Lorraine Warren brought one out in court. One of their cases, it was a combination of curse and demons. And the lawyer brought it up. The guy still had to go to jail had to go to prison because he did the actual crime. But it was brought out. He got a lesser sentence because of the influence, the negative influence that brought him to that.
Makes a lot of sense. All right. If a ghost is a recording or an imprint of something from the past, what is it that interacts or responds to us if we ask questions?
Well, that might not be a ghost. It might be an actual human spirit. Big difference. Because then you can get feedback as to ask them questions, get answers.
What is the difference between a human spirit and a human ghost?
They're both the same. Human spirit, human ghost. If it's a human, if it's a recording, it's just an event playing over and over and over. Like people say at a certain time of the day, of the year, they hear the scream and a thud and the carpet turns over every year, same time. That was what happened back then. So it just repeats over and over. It just needs to be cleared out, and so that recording stops. And if you have to trace it back to the human spirits that were there, then they need to be removed. Sometimes a human spirit does not know that they have died. And they can walk around not even seeing us at all, not even seeing us. They just walk right by us and don't even notice. And don't know that they have passed on. And you have to be woke up about that. And sometimes that I've been brought into that, and like one of my students had one like that. I said, all you have to do is talk to him. Stop what you're doing, sit there, talk to him directly. And he did. And the person just looked at him in shock. You can see me, you're talking to me. And then he told him what was going on, why he died, and he went into the light. Another guy, he was a carpenter working on a place. His tools kept on coming up missing. The spirit of the previous owner was there. And I told him, just stop what you're doing when you notice things like that. And you may not see him, but just talk to him and tell him, I'm sorry. Identify yourself, who you are, and tell him, I'm sorry, I cannot hear you or see you, but explain why. And explain why you're there. You're here to fix something for the current owner. He did that, never had another encounter again.
T-Bone wants to know, are there curses on world leaders?
Yes, I've stopped quite a few. Our current president was being cursed and had demons sent to him when he first said he was going to run for office. That's when it started. He was talking strange and everything. A guy, he said he was really into politics. I'm not. But he said, he's acting funny. He wanted me to check it out. So I did. I said, oh my gosh, he's being cursed. And they sent demons to him. I said, wow, that's bad. I said, I don't mind a Democratic or Republican country. You're bound to get one or the other. But not a demonic country. That would be bad. That's like Hitler, demonic. So I had to clean him up, and I put a shield on him, and he's had this shield ever since. So protected. But there was one also, the leader of Russia, he was being cursed. The one of North Korea, he was being cursed. I had to stop them, protect them. I said, we don't need a problem like that. That would be bad.
That would be bad.
That would be bad.
All right, let's continue on. We got about 6 minutes to go. The wizard is asking, does attributing the idea that someone did something due to possession remove the possibility that some people are just evil?
No, it doesn't. And they may not be possessed. Maybe it's just them. It's just the way they are. Narcissistic people have a tendency to do things that seem like they're being possessed, but they're just that way. So you have to do a research to find out, is there an influence? Maybe they were raised up in an area of great demonic influence, and now this is the way they carry out their lives now. It's possible. But without research into that, to eliminate the possibilities, you're left with what is actually happening.
If a ghost is recording or an imprint from, I believe this one may have been asked. If a ghost is a recording or imprint of something from the past, what is it that interacts? Yeah, we've asked that one. I apologize. Let's go to
no
here.
problem.
If a ghost is residual, what are we seeing outside of that?
What are we seeing outside of that?
Yeah.
Like if there's a ghost, a recording, and we're seeing something else outside of that, well, there'd be one of the two, but not necessarily both at the same time. It could be. It's possible. You'd have to research that to find out what is actually going on. Is this a recording or is this for real? You'd have to determine that. By the only way you could do is research. That's the basis of what I do, is research.
Matthew wants to know if the Nephilim souls are demons.
The Nestle?
Nephilim.
Humans are humans, demons are demons, and not both the same. Although some humans can act very demonic, but that's just them. You know, like I said, serial killers and mass shooters. They could do horrendous, horrible things, but they're not demons. But the demons are working through them to create the problem. And because they need more spirits on their side. And when they kill somebody, they take their soul as well. So it's a vicious cycle.
It does sound vicious. Let's go next to Big J. What is and I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Qliphoth? Qliphoth? Qliphoth.
Well, I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up first to find out.
Me neither. Let's move on. Let us move on. LS,
That's interesting.
Are there half human, half demon spirits?
Well, there are demonized human spirits. When you get, like sometimes I have a community with 6, 7, 8 people in the community who have demons connected to them. And there's always a level 10 in that area. That level 10 is controlling all the other demons and all the people connected to them and anyone who comes near enough. And they always have captured, anywhere from 80 or 90 human spirits, and they use them to terrorize the community for a good mile in all directions. They are demonized human spirits. After a while, they don't really look all that human anymore. They kind of look like towards Lord of the Rings, those creatures in there, the orcs, where they look closer to them or in between them. So very creepy looking. But yeah, that's hot like that.
All right. We've only got about under 2 minutes left with you tonight.
Okay.
And this has been a lot of fun doing this show with you tonight.
Excellent.
How much do you enjoy what you do? How much do you enjoy getting people out of this?
I enjoy being able to help people stop the curses, remove the demons. And when they say they appreciate it and everything like that, that makes my day. It makes my day. And I tell them, I said, I'm just glad that I'm able to do this.
And how can people get a hold of you in order to secure your help for a situation that they might not have any control over?
Well, they can, on my website, they have that text, my phone number's there, but right now, I can't answer the phone because I'm already on a call. So they can text me or email me, and I answer all my texts or emails in the order in which received, and I'll get back to them as quickly as I can. And I'll need a picture of them some people are hesitant on giving out pictures. I say, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not. You can turn your back to a mirror, take a picture behind you, and that's good enough.
All right, my friend. Thank you very much. Hour 3 with Swamp Dweller and Josh Rutledge is next.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
All right, my friend, we are clear. Good job.
Excellent. All right, thank you.
All right, you have a great night, okay?
That's interesting. We both have the same last name.
It's awesome. You
It
take care,
is.
my friend.
All right, you too. Take
Take
care.
care of that
Thank you.
mustache for us.
All righty.
Take care. Bye-bye. Raymond Scott, everybody. There we go. Let's put this up here for right now. I'll be right back. right, I am back. Let us bring in the wizard. There he is. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great, man. How are you doing?
Oh, I got a headache tonight. Swamp Dweller will be about 4 minutes.
Okay.
And we will
Am I coming through? Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I asked how you were doing. You didn't say anything, and I was like, "Oh, is my mic?"
I did.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Well, I was too busy admiring that tight haircut you just got.
Yeah, with my
tight.
With my what's alfalfa? You know, from the
Yeah.
I'm gonna go throw a hat on.
Yeah, I don't know where all our people are tonight. We got a low crowd tonight. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they'll show up because the wizard is here.
Hopefully.
That light is harsh. I'll turn that down a little bit. Turn that down just a wee little bit.
All right, we got 25 seconds. Thank you tonight to our super chatters, Benno, Kitty, and T-Bone. Also, big thank you tonight to T-Bone gifting a membership and Vamp Skyder picking up a membership. We greatly appreciate your love and support. And we're coming back in 5 seconds, everybody. Here comes the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We appreciate you tuning us in as Swamp Dweller and the wizard Josh Rutledge are coming on in momentarily. First, we want to say hello to all of you listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Capaniform. Capaniform is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night. Right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp. Hey Swamp Dweller, I am new to your channel, but already I am loving what you do. Keep it up. Okay. So this happened to my father, but the time frame of this story is like 15 years ago. But anyways, when my dad was about 5 years old, he started getting these vivid nightmares. It would be wherever he fell asleep. But he would hear a scream coming from something just out of sight. But this scream was not human. It was like a monster pretending to be an injured human. The weird part is that he kept having the same nightmare for years and years, and every time he would have the nightmare, the noise always seemed just a little bit closer. After a few years, he finally got a glimpse of what was making the noises. It started as a bloodshot eye peering through the crack in the door, and the screaming was deafening at this point. Over several more dreams, the door would open slightly more every time till he could see it fully. It looks like a frail, starved woman who has had every joint dislocated and every bone is broken. And he said that the way it moved was the most terrifying part. It was like it was twitching and glitching towards him, moving incredibly fast. But he would wake up every single time, right about when it was an inch away from him. By age 18, the dreams did not really affect my dad. It was just part of life. At age 20, my dad, me, and my mom went to our home country of Pakistan when I was about 1 year old. At the time, We were staying at my mom's dad's house. My dad tells me that one night everything was calm and very quiet, and out of nowhere, he heard it. As soon as the sound hit his ears, it felt like his heart was going to burst out of his chest. He heard the screaming from his dreams. He knew that today, it would all come to an end, and this whole ordeal would finally be over. My dad grabbed a 12 gauge, loaded it, and headed downstairs to the front door. The screaming was even louder at this point. Right as my father was going to open the door, my granddad grabbed him and said, "I will deal with it." My dad responded, "No, this is my mission. I have seen it in my dreams for years. I have to deal with it." My granddad said, "Don't be stupid. What will your wife and kid do if something happens to you? Go upstairs and protect them. I'll deal with it." And with that, my dad went back upstairs. He heard the front door open and shut. Suddenly, the screaming became deafening. The windows even started rattling. Then suddenly all the noises stopped, and they heard the front door open, and my granddad came upstairs and went to bed. He did not speak at all for a month. The next day, my dad went outside to see if there were any sign of that thing, and then he found his dog was dead. But what was weird was all of its guts were out on the floor next to him, but there was no cut or incision on the body. My granddad was deeply a religious person. I do not think my dad would have lost his voice for a month. He would have probably lost his life. My granddad later explained he was yelling prayers at the thing, telling it to go, and that it was not welcome near people who are protected by God. And it let out that huge scream they heard, and it just ran off into the night. But then my granddad realized he couldn't speak, but none of us have seen anything or heard anything about those dreams ever again. I don't know what my grandfather did, but we're forever grateful for him. This creature, whatever it was pure evil.
Thank you, Swamp Dweller, for another creepy story. If you want more just like that, head on over to YouTube, type Swamp Dweller in, hit subscribe, ring that bell. Thousands of stories for you to listen to. They're all entertaining, so check it on out. From the swamp to the stars, it's time to bring in the wizard. Here's Josh Rutledge with the UFO Report. Wizard, it's always good to have you on this show. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic, Dave. I was just sitting here thinking as I'm listening to my intro song that if I ever speak at a con, I'm gonna have to get that and play it as I come onto the stage. It's gonna have to be over the speakers, the intercom. UFO Wizard is taking the stage, folks. Come to the main stage. That's where it's at.
The wizard. Yeah, you're starting to appreciate that nickname there.
I am. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I bought the URL just in case.
What does the wife think? What does the wife think? Does she call you wizard yet or what?
No.
Have you tried?
She rolls her eyes at just about everything that comes out of my mouth. So, yeah, she's got her thing. I've got mine. I, introduce little snippets of things, but for the most part, whenever we talk about anything regarding to this topic, it eventually reaches a point where she's like, "Okay, that's too woo. You gotta just, I can't process and digest that right now." So, yeah.
Well, that's awesome, my friend. That's awesome. At least she's supporting what you love to do.
Yeah.
Hey, we got some big UFO news coming out just in the last couple of days here. And it doesn't involve the current president, but involves the former president. For people who may not know, what's going on here?
Yeah. So in an interview that Barack Obama did with a gentleman named Brian Tyler Cohen, who is just kind of like a political journalist. He's started out on YouTube. He's gotten big over the last probably 4 or 5 years, to the point where, obviously now he's garnered enough journalistic respect to get, seated with former President Barack Obama. In the interview, most of the conversation was not around aliens or UFOs or anything, but towards the end of the interview, they went into kind of like a rapid question, lightning question round. And one of the questions that Brian Taylor Cohen asked was, are aliens real? And Obama's immediate response was, and I'm going to quote verbatim, they are real. I've not seen them. And they're not at, what's that place? And then Brian Taylor Cohen says Area 51. He says, yes, Area 51. They're not at Area 51. There is no underground base there. At least not that I'm aware of. If there is, it is a conspiracy that has extended, well beyond the office of the presidency. So basically in that interview, Obama, not in jest, because there have been other times when other people have asked him the same. He's been on Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert, and they've asked him the same, and he's always given a very in jest response, smiling and laughing. This was not. He kept a straight face. He took a drink of coffee or water, or whatever was in the coffee cup during answering the question, continued where he left off. It was never, there was never any glint, in my opinion, of jest in his response.
Obama did come out afterwards, and he kind of gave a statement basically that on Instagram, he stated, I was trying to stick with the spirit of the speed round, but since it's gotten attention, let me clarify. Statistically, the universe is so vast that the odds are good there's life out there, but the distances between solar systems are so great that the chances that we have been visited by aliens is low, and I saw no evidence during my presidency that extraterrestrials have made contact with us. Really? Your thoughts on that?
So I think it's really interesting. The qualifier that he put in his statement was that he saw no evidence during his presidency. He was president for a total of 8 years. I don't know how old he is, but he's got to be in his probably mid to late 60s. So that's a lot of other life that, he could have said, I've presented with no evidence that aliens, have visited Earth, and left it at that. But he included the qualifier during his presidency, as if to state that as the former president, his official stance is that aliens have not visited us. It really feels like it feels like a CYA from as a former president perspective. But I wonder if you were to ask him, off the record as not a former president, would he give the same response? Not necessarily does he, has he seen evidence in the form of crash retrievals or any of that kind of stuff, but perhaps Obama has had his own experience in his personal life, or he's, I think what's really interesting about all of this, and this is something that I have quite a bit of issues swallowing, is Stephen Greer supposedly gives every new president, sits down with them and gives them a brief on the state of, the UFO topic. And what's interesting is I did get an email in the in-between time between when Obama made his statement on the podcast and when he tried to walk it back on Instagram. I got an email from Greer saying, hey, yeah, see, this proves that, we've been doing this for a long time. And here's a link to the brief. And the brief is dated 2009, but it's in a folder on Stephen Greer's website uploaded June 2022. So the fact that Obama tried to walk a statement back, and the fact that Greer says he briefs every president, I don't know. It just something is off. Either Obama feels like he has to toe the political line, and so he tried to walk back his statement, stating, such that, hey, as a president, I'm not aware of anything. Or Greer perhaps is not being honest, or some combination of those two things.
One of the other things that we need to point out is when a president or former president goes on any talk show, podcast, any type of interview, the one thing that is provided to them by the source of the interview is a list of questions that will be asked. So Obama knew this question was coming, just like he did when he went on Jimmy Kimmel. If you remember a few years ago, when he went on Jimmy Kimmel to talk about that, Kimmel asked him about the aliens. Do we have aliens? Does Earth have aliens? And what's funny about that, and I encourage anybody to go back and watch that footage on YouTube or wherever, but one of the things that I noticed about it, maybe you will too, if you go and look at it, was the change in body that Obama did. Prior to that UFO/alien question, he was very calm, cool, collective, acting like a president should, or a former president of that time should. And then he all of a sudden, when asked the alien question, he started going, like he was trying to find the words to say to it. And he knew it was coming, but his body language changed. He seemed all of a sudden a little bit more nervous about that question. He seemed a little bit more trite in his answers. I don't know if you remember that, Josh, but
I do.
It looked a little uncomfortable for him.
Yeah, and I've it's funny because that interview before all of this came up recently for me within the last probably 5 or 6 months. I was talking to somebody else about it, because it's not just his body language, but I don't know, his the answers that he gives, although kind of disguised behind laughter and things, was it was very weird that he said basically something like we're not allowed to say that, the aliens won't let that happen, they exercise strict control over us. And it was kind of like a kind of thing, like something went on, and Kimmel says he asked Bill Clinton about it, and Obama's like, that's what we're instructed to say, and he said that in a very kind of deadpan type delivery. So like, I don't know, part of me wonders if that was in jest, or if it was truth disguised as satire.
I think he's nervous about that question. I think he knows, and he's playing it off, that he knows that there's a lot more to it than what we actually think. I think that he is somebody who is very much potentially in the know. Maybe he hasn't seen anything, but at least has been read in to what is going on. And the thing that kind of I find interesting was Obama was the first ever president to admit that Area 51 actually existed.
Yeah.
And the fact that he brought up, and people will say, maybe you're reading a little bit too much into this, but the fact that he brought it up that there's nothing at Area 51 and there's no deep underground facilities there, or paraphrasing what he said. Well, I've talked to people who've been there, talked to a few people who've been there, and they said, oh yeah, there are underground storage units and things that are there. So it's very much interesting to see how he's saying, there's nothing underground hidden there. Well, a lot of these places do have underground facilities because it's easier to hide underground than it is on top of the surface. You're not going to put a 25-story building at Area 51 so that way people could see what's truly going on. That's not really how it works. So I find that a little bit interesting as well, that he brings up Area 51. But I do agree with him. I don't think there is anything at Area 51, Josh. I think they've moved it all. It's more in private hands at different facilities. Probably, we look at Lockheed Skunk Works at 29 Palms or other places where these private corporations and private military industrial complex companies are the ones who have it all. So I don't think it is that he's not telling the truth, but I think he's telling at least a half truth there.
Yeah, it's a true statement, just not a completely true statement, right? And that's something you and I talked about. And we talked about it, I think, last week, even before he made this statement, is that, I don't think there's anything at any, government owned facility. I think it's all been divvied up to private contracting companies over the last probably 60 years. And that's why that's why, and think about it from a perspective of secrecy. You can either put out a FOIA response that says we don't have anything, or you can put out a FOIA response that says we can neither confirm nor deny. And to a lot of people, that effectively is an answer in the affirmative. It's kind of like pleading the fifth at trial. I'm not going to incriminate myself, which means if you were to say the truth, you would incriminate yourself, right? So it's a catch-22. So I think from a secrecy perspective, from an intelligence community perspective, it makes sense for them to give all these sensitive things out to these corporations who do not fall underneath the FOIA, requirements. So I agree. I don't think there's anything in Area 51. Was there ever? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, it's been pretty well documented that all the Roswell Cross stuff went to Wright-Patterson in Ohio. More than likely, soon after, because you think the Air Force and the CIA were both established in 1947 in September. So maybe soon after it left Wright-Patterson, went somewhere else before ultimately ending up in Lockheed Martin or whoever else, was around north of Grunham or whoever else was around at the time. But yeah, I don't think there's anything in any government facility. And that's why I think it's interesting that Burleson is, working out this tour to go inspect all these government facilities, Area 51 being one of them, so that he can find where all this crash retrieval stuff is. It makes me wonder if he's being directed to go to those places by Grush and others, because that would mean they've been potentially told that there's this content there, which again, just from an intelligence community secrecy perspective, doesn't make a lot of sense. Why put something where somebody from Congress could go?
Well, and that's exactly it. I mean, why wouldn't you put it where they're not going to know? This
Right.
is why I always wonder, is there some secret base along the islands of the Aleutians or off of Alaska where your typical governmental official is not going to travel to? I mean, what a place to hide it. Yes, it's right close to the Russian border there, but hey, if UFOs are bipartisan and and kind of step away from the countries, instead of working more towards humanity, then it would make sense to put something up there at one of the secret islands up there. It would make sense. That's a place to hide it. I'm going to get you to hold on right there, Wizard. I want to continue this conversation because when we come back, I want to know if the Wizard thinks that Obama saying this maybe takes a little bit of wind out of the sails of Trump saying anything. We need to find out this and more on the UFO Report with the Wizard.
This is Spaced Out Radio and your host, Dave Scott.
All right, Wizard, we're clear.
Cool.
Just because of the way I'm feeling, everybody, probably when we get things done, I'm going to wrap this up pretty quickly. I honestly do not feel good, and I need to go take some meds or something. This headache just will not shake. Just will not shake.
Where do you feel it?
Oh, man. It's one of those ones that starts in your neck.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times I get it if I haven't drank enough water.
Back of the head, right at the base of the skull.
Like neck up to the ears and everything, like real stiff.
It's a tension headache. Been a lot of anxiety or stress recently.
Yeah. Yep, that's true. That is true.
Thinking about the deep underground base stuff at Area 51, it makes sense from a resources perspective that there would be one there, because it's the freaking Nevada desert. I mean, why would you build above ground and have to cool all of that all the time? You go underground, you get to, it's like a cave. It stays the same temperature year round, I mean,
right.
So just from a resources perspective, it would make sense to have underground facilities. Now, does it go 25 stories down, 30, 40? I don't know, but I would say at least 2. Plus,
at least 2.
Plus, from a strike resilience perspective, right? You want to move your command, you want to have a command situation underground. Somebody drops, incendiary explosive devices on your facility. You don't want to be stuck in a 25-story building out in the middle of the open. You go underground. Come on, it's logic, people.
It's all about logic, my friend.
I'm waiting for the next time Obama gets interviewed by somebody and they're like, "Hey, you said aliens were real, and then you try to walk it back. Care to elaborate?" I'm waiting for that interview.
Well, that's if the question gets approved.
Yeah. But, they could ask if they could ask the question, but then change the question on the spot, I guess.
I don't think they would. That's just me. That's just me. But who am I? We got about 2 minutes to go here, buddy.
All right.
All right. Been a good show. We got about 90 seconds, bro.
Okay.
What'd you get up to this weekend?
A whole lot of nothing. It was great. I mean, Sunday, I did nothing all day Sunday. It was great. It's good to have those days every now and then. You don't got to be anywhere. Saturday night, my daughter had a basketball game, so we were at that from 6 to 7. It's really close. They lost by 2 points. Really close.
Oh, that sounds like a good game to watch.
Yeah. It was 26 to 28.
Wow. Good for them.
It went into overtime.
Do they play at that younger age? Do they play with a lowered basket? Like, is it only at like 6 feet or 8 feet? Or are they going 10 feet?
10 foot. 10 foot. And some games that they play with a women's WNBA ball. This game they played with a men's NBA ball.
Oh, wow.
So it varies. But no, it's a 10 foot. I mean, they play the same free throw and 3-point line as like high school plays at.
All right, here we go, buddy.
Okay.
Let's kick off the final half hour. The UFO Report with Josh Rutledge continues right now. We're talking about President Barack Obama coming out on a podcast saying aliens are real. Now, Josh, there has been a lot of speculation over the last couple of weeks put out there by United Kingdom documentarian Mark Christopher Lee, who said, and he really stirred things up a little bit. It even got to Trump's daughter-in-law's podcast, Laura Trump, in regards to whether or not he would be disclosing UFOs and alien contact. Mark Christopher Lee felt it was going to happen on July 8th, which was the 79th anniversary, or which will be the 79th anniversary of Roswell, but that date seems to have been moved up now to May 1st. Apparently, the speech is already written. It's just a matter of Trump finding out the time to do it. However, then comes this weekend, and we know there is no love lost between Donald Trump and Barack Obama. Whatever their beef is, that's between them. We don't really talk a lot of politics on this show. But the question is, do you think then that Obama took a little bit of the sunshine off of this alleged speech by coming out and saying what he did?
Maybe. I mean, he did, like we talked about in the first half hour, he did try to walk it back a little bit. So, you know, maybe, I don't know. I like my initial thought when I heard it, and you know, we got a little group chat, and I think I said this and that, but was, what if Obama said what he said in hopes that would, you know, somehow prompt Trump to then say, well, I'm not going to let Obama be the guy who says this, so I'm going to go out, I'm going to spill all the beans. But then Obama tried to walk his statement back, and then I was like, well, maybe that's not the case. But then by him walking his statement back, that also gives Trump the ability to say, Obama couldn't do it, but I can do it, and I'm going to spill all the beans. So I think, you know, if the possibility is that Obama is strategically playing his statements towards Trump being the one to release the information, then Obama has given Trump two different ways to release it. Either A, Obama said a little bit, I'm going to say a lot, or B, Obama walked it back. He doesn't have the guts to say it, so I will, and I'm going to say a lot. So, yeah, and that's what, like, I actually made a post on social media. I don't think it'll go anywhere, but I wish people would make the posts. Like, go on to X and everywhere else and post Obama is the disclosure president, and let that filter up to the Trumps, because then Trump will release information just to be able to prove Obama wrong. That's the community play here. Everybody make it Obama is the disclosure president. That's the way we're going to get this information released.
Well, you know what? I wonder if this is going to spark anything, because one president loves the limelight on himself. The other loves to still be present, shall we say. And, once you're in that top position, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, there's some ego that goes along with that, that title of president. And you're going to push that as far as you can, no matter what. So I guess I look at it like this, my friend. I think knowing that the two can't stand each other, the comment was made. He being Obama, knew the question was coming. And the fact that he answered it so matter-of-factly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's aliens.
Yeah.
And then was quick to stumble and bumble to the point that he missed the Area 51 call. It just makes sense that it would just, light a little bit of a fire under it. Who thought aliens would be the one that maybe lights that fire? And, there are going to be people who come out and say, this is a way to take away from the Epstein files. This is a way to take away from the Middle East. This is a way to take away from Russia, Ukraine, or whatever it may be. A president's job isn't to focus on just one topic. He or she, in the future, has to take on hundreds of topics per day.
Mm.
I would never want that job. Never. I mean, I'd probably want a politician's job just so I could, go in with no money and come out rich at the end. But in the end, I don't think that this would be on anybody's bingo card that the UFO subject could be the one that really lights a fire under this situation.
Yeah. Yes. But the other thing that I also, and even before all this stuff with Obama, even back when it was just talking about whether or not Trump would say whatever he was going to say. One of the things that you and I have talked a lot about is all these people who have gotten up in front of Congress at these UAP hearings over the last 4 years and have made a lot of claims, but have not provided any real evidence to support those claims. If Trump goes out on national TV and says aliens are real and we've got them, and Barack Obama doesn't know what he's talking about, they're on sub-level 3 at Area 51. If he says anything regards to that, at the end of the day, he still is in the same situation as everybody else. He provided no evidence to support his claim. Now, the bigger question that I would have is from a legality perspective. If he makes that statement as the president, thus declassifying that information by making a public statement as the president, does that mean we can now FOIA related material and have it not get the stamp of this is classified?
Could be. Here's the other thing too. I think we need to look at. If a president comes out and says aliens are real, it holds a lot more clout than somebody who's in the UFO topic. Whether it's David Grush, Lou Elizondo, Chris Mellon, okay, any of these guys, okay, Jim Semivan, you name it. Any of these old timers who've been talking about this story for a long time, they don't have any clout. It's easy to say where people will hit them up. Where's the evidence? Where's the proof? The two dumbest questions I think that anybody can ask, and especially if you're skeptic, because there's so much more to that. And I will say this, I think it holds a lot more knowledge by what he doesn't say. So when Obama comes out and makes this comment about the aliens being real, it's what he doesn't say also that adds a lot of clout to the story. I tend to believe him more than I do someone else, Josh, somebody within the UFO community. Okay. And that could even be a congressperson like Anna Paulina Luna or Tim Burchett or Burleson or Mace or whoever it may be. I think it holds a lot more political clout.
So it's interesting because let's change it up a little bit and let's talk about let's take it away from the UFO topic, alien topic, and let's just talk about the possibility that Coca-Cola stole their recipe from Dr. Pepper. Let's just play this out for a minute. If you've got a bunch of scientists that work in the lab and they come forward and they blow the whistle, quote unquote, blow the whistle about this all happening. And then the CEO comes out and he says, oh yeah, we got the recipe from Dr. Pepper. The scientists will get just as much credit for bringing this to the attention of the people who matter as the CEO. Yet for some reason, when it comes to the UFO alien topic, the boots on the ground people are discredited, but the CEO, the president, somehow carries more clout.
I would agree with that.
Why?
Well, I think because of the position. It's definitely the position.
But what I'm saying is that it shouldn't matter. The boots on the ground people are the people in the fight. They've been in it day in, day out. The CEO, the president, he just gets intelligent briefs. He's only told what people think he needs to know to make a decision.
I get that. I see where you're going with that. But humanity in general needs leadership. We're not good when we are running on our own, when we are actually free birds. Okay?
Yep.
We need a leader of the pack. So when the leader of the pack actually takes a stand and says something, whether you agree with it or not, it means something.
I guess what I'm saying is it would be better if he were to come out and say, yes, and listen to these five guys, and those four of those five guys happen to be people we've already been listening to, right? Versus, yes, they're real. That's all you get. To me, that doesn't push, that doesn't tell us any new information other than the president of the United States thinks that they're real.
Well, a lot of other criticism about that Obama interview was the host not doing any follow-up questions regarding that. You just had Obama drop a bombshell on your show and you don't follow it up. And I think a lot of people have mistakenly, gone public with it, say, well, why didn't you follow up with questions? You can't. In that position, you cannot follow up with the questions.
Yeah.
As much as he may have wanted to. Okay. The only time that I would say that I saw this in journalism that somebody dropped the ball was the 60 Minutes interview that Robert Bigelow did with and I forget her name, the journalist who was asking the questions, because she basically asked him the aliens question.
Yeah.
And he started laughing. And he goes, you don't have to leave the planet to see them. They're already here.
Yeah.
Either the follow-up questions fell on the editing floor because 60 Minutes is a highly edited show.
Yeah.
Or she didn't know how to follow up with those questions, because literally That was the entire story. It wasn't about him being a media mogul. It wasn't about him being a hotel mogul or a space mogul. It was about that conversation. And I'm wondering how much fell on the editing floor, because the way it was edited, it wasn't pursued very well. And that was the powerful question. You have this billionaire saying that aliens are here, and then she just kind of moved on. The whole segment is maybe 3 minutes out of a 60-minute interview.
Well, and that's what I was telling somebody else this past weekend. I was like, Brian Tyler Cohen is not a UFO guy. Like, I think this is probably the first show that I've ever seen him do where he talked about anything other than political type, conversation, ideas, questions, etc. So whether he's an experiencer, a believer, he does not openly align himself to the UFO topic. So I don't want to assume that he doesn't know anything else about the UFO topic, but it's very possible that he doesn't. And he really didn't know what the next question to ask should be in that scenario. It was just hey, I've got this opportunity to ask the president a number of different questions. I'm going to throw this one out there because, hey, whatever answer he gives, I'm going to get a lot of people tuning into my show who maybe don't today because I asked that question. It could have very much been a marketing ploy on his part to get the UFO community to tune in to see his show and maybe like it well enough that they'll stick around and watch some more of it. So, but that's what I'm saying. Like in my mind, now that Obama has said this, regardless of the fact that he's tried to walk it back, he still said it. I think that it now opens him up to other interviews where people will potentially push against him trying to walk it back. Well, why'd you say it if you were just going to turn around and walk it back? Why did you talk about Area 51 and deep underground bases? None of that was necessary in your answer if you were just going to turn around and say, well, I think aliens are possible. So the next interviews to come with people who are more likely to be a little more prepared on what the follow-on question needs to be, those will be the interviews to watch for. If, like you say, they actually make it past the cutting room.
That's the beauty of the podcast rather than the scripted television nomenclature of it all. Okay, the podcast is going to be a little bit more freedom in order to do that because you're the controller of your own channel on YouTube or Rumble or wherever you are broadcasting, but the fact is, I would have liked to have seen questions. Okay, what do you mean by this? What do you mean that they're here? Follow it up. And this is a problem, without sounding like an arrogant, pompous journalist. This is the problem we have with a lot of podcasts out there is the hosts are not journalistically trained. Mm-hmm. So when they get and I screw up on it too, guys. I do. But when you get somebody who is journalistically trained, when they know how to properly follow up that question, rather than just, I've got aliens on my script, and what do I do next? That's where you're going to get a lot of these mishandling of interviews. It really does happen, and it happens a lot more than we think. But that being said, when you're interviewing a president, and you do not have control of your questions. They may say you can ask the alien question, but no follow-ups.
Right.
No follow-ups on that. And that person, in order to get the interview, has to abide by that.
Right.
Or
to get the next interview, even.
Absolutely. So what we want is going to be much different, Josh, than what is actually said. And I want to see, if I were that host, I would come out and I would say, look, in order for me to interview him, I needed to apply my questions to them first, get my questions approved. And then from there, we could go from there. So if you're barking at me for not asking the follow-up questions to the UFO questions, this is the reason why.
Right.
Put the onus on the president and his handlers.
Right.
Or the former president and his handlers.
But yes. But also like in the amount of viewers that he has, how many of those viewers make up individuals in the UFO community? What I'm basically saying is that a big enough net to swat at? You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
How many people are actually coming to him and saying, "Oh, why didn't you ask more questions about the alien thing?" And how many of those people make up, some percentage of his audience? Because he may not even frankly care that we care that he didn't ask more questions enough to defend his position.
I think he was handcuffed and stuck.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. And anybody who's yourself, a journalistic background, myself just being a logical, intelligent person, I guess. Anybody like that would know that he probably was underneath, interview constraints on what he could ask, what he could follow up with. But that's what I'm saying. So for the people who don't know, who are openly criticizing him about not asking the questions, what percentage of his viewership do they comprise, and is it even worth it to go on there and just educate them on journalistic integrity and what it takes in order to interview a former president of the United States?
On that note, we got to wrap things up. Big Josh, the Wizard, thank you for a great UFO report as we continue on here, and say hello to Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAB, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on X at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and Bigfoot Broadcasting Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, we're watching. We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo Train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night, everybody. Good job tonight, Josh Rutledge.
Yeah, it was a great conversation, Dave.
A lot of good questions you had there, man.
If only I had a chance to interview somebody.
Right? Isn't that always the case?
Yep. So, Well, I do have to go. I've got to get up in the morning to to run a workshop for a client. So I got to get all the rest I can.
No problem, buddy.
I got to be online at 8:00 my time to tell people how to do stuff. So
that's what happens, my friend.
Yeah. All right. So talk to y'all later and see you on Thursday.
That's the wizard, everybody. That's the wizard. That's why we love him right there. Get this microphone out of the way. Jesus. Oh, now we're going to go blurry, or is that my eyes? Seriously. We blurry now? Oh, we're blurry. Ric Flair didn't die, did he? That would be all over X if he did. I don't think he did. That would be all over my X if he did. No, he's not dead. Don't RIP him if he's not dead. All right, guys. I am not feeling very well tonight, so I've been battling a headache for about the last 8-9 hours. So I'm going to drop on out of here pretty darn quick. Let me get this done first. And then is that done? It's done. There we go. Go like that. Tomorrow night on the show, Tyler Ellison will join us, the Galactic Guide. We're going to have some fun with him. All right. Talk about the Galactic Federation, alien contact, you name it. Thank you tonight to T-Bone, Kitty Caddywhack, and Benno for the super chats. Thank you to everyone for joining us tonight. I'm going to get out of here pretty quick because my head is killing me. I think I need some aspirin. I do. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow night. Take care.
healthy, my friend.
You too.
If you need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.